Hello everybody, and welcome back to a new season of Gentoo.
Man, it feels good to be back.
It's been a whole year since we've done any news.
Are we really starting off with the corny jokes?
Hey, what can I say? It's just a love of the game.
Speaking of games, shall we hop into a new season of Games and Tech News?
That's a good idea. Let's get straight into this week's patch notes. Steam has released a new feature for their early access games. If a game in early access has not been updated in over 12 months, a warning will appear on the store page giving a note and a time frame of how long the last update to the game has been, and warning users that future updates may not be coming. Rest in peace, Realm Royale.
The sequel to the award-winning game Kingdom Come Deliverance has finally been released. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 came out on February 4th, and in a single day topped 1 million copies sold. Continue Henry of Scalet's story in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Be a kind, wandering knight, or do what any other knight in the Middle Ages did, and loot and pillage.
If you really love democracy like I do, then you're gonna love this. Helldivers 2 has released its newest update, allowing you to spread democracy in new and exciting ways. Throw grenades from moving vehicles, column portable hell bombs, a new grenade launcher sidearm, and a whole host of new weapons and accessories for you to spread freedom and democracy with.
Multiverse's Warner Brothers competitor to Super Smash Bros. Apparently couldn't take the hits, and its servers are going to be shut down on May 30th. Well, when you were trying to fight the guys named Super Smash Bros., I'm not really sure what you were expecting.
Monster Hunter Wilds, the latest in the Monster Hunter series, is set to release on February 28th. I'm not really sure how much wilder you can get considering the entire game series has been set, well, in the wilderness, with you fighting monsters. But hey, I'm not the one turning down a new opportunity to smash some giant lizards in the head with a big hammer. Made my summers as a kid great. Didn't even know there were video games about it until last year.
Atari, those guys are actually still around, has dropped the price on their mini 8-bit home computer to a special limited time offer of $97.19. The Atari 400 Mini offers all of the games that were featured on the Atari 400 all the way to the Atari 800 XL. Make sure to grab the Atari 400 Mini, even though I don't think it's that small before this limited time offer goes away.
Back in 2018, Google published several principles restricting what their AI is to be used for. Now, only a couple weeks into the Trump presidency, Google has removed several of those principles, including, quote, technologies that cause harm or likely to cause overall harm, weapons or other technologies whose principal purpose is to cause or directly facilitate injury to people, technologies that gather or use information for surveillance violating internationally accepted norms, and technologies whose purpose contravenes widely accepted principles of international law and human rights. It remains to be seen what is to come from Google AI. I mean, Skynet doesn't sound too bad right now.
US tech markets lost over $600 billion in a single night due to China's newest AI, DeepSeek. DeepSeek is ChatGPT's newest rival and by all benchmarks has punched far above its weight class. While ChatGPT uses massive banks of servers, advanced computer chips, and GPUs to run it, DeepSeek on the other hand does the same thing as ChatGPT with just a fraction of the cost and resources. With DeepSeek being as good as it is for how cheap it is, AI has a chance to explode in growth to be even bigger and better for much less. I guess it's not that great for any big tech bros out there, but take this out. Take it.
And that's the patch notes for this week. Comment down below which one is most exciting for you.
And now let's check out a brand new bundle of shows.
Hi, welcome to the Easter egg collection, where we discuss nothing but video game Easter eggs. I am the Easter egg collector, Adam Hunter. So since it's my first time showing off my collection, we're gonna have to lay down some ground rules. No touching. These Easter eggs are very fragile. Except for one though. This is the golden Easter egg. I'll be hiding him around these episodes going forward, and you guys can hunt them down. So now that that's settled, I guess we can start with what is an Easter egg? So an Easter egg is, something you go and hunt down, and on Easter Sunday you get a little chocolatey treats, so you just eat all in one sitting. But related to a video game, it's there to enhance the player experience. You can find a visual gag, something to make the player laugh. You can find, it'll give lore to enhance the game and give it deeper meaning, or you do certain steps and you're given a certain prize for it. It could be totally funny, it could be totally serious. I found something in my collection that's pretty old and vintage here. Let's go back in time here. We're gonna go back to the first Easter egg discovered in video game history. The first Easter egg was created by Warren Robinette. See, Warren, he had a problem. Atari was creating their new game, Atari Adventure, but Atari didn't like their developers crediting themselves in the games they developed. They used this as a bargaining chip with management so just to undermine the developers. And they also used this so their competitors couldn't grab developers that created their game to make their own games. So Warren, he hatched a plan. By following a certain path, you can find his name etched in history as the first Easter egg created. Thank you for joining me on this journey of rediscovering the first Easter egg. I will see you next week.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Surviving Horror, where we go over different games in the horror genre and dissect what is the scariest aspect of each story in my subjective opinion. The first game I want to discuss is Until Dawn, released in 2015 and developed by Supermassive Games. Until Dawn was the first game that I ever played that truly scared me to the point where I stayed up at night. What made it so memorable for me was because it plays differently than almost every other survival horror game that I have ever played. While other outings in the genre are more in line with traditional games that players may be familiar with, Until Dawn, as well as other Supermassive titles, play out more comparable to an interactive movie, where the choices you make determine how the story plays out through the game as you play as 8 different characters trapped on this snowy mountain. Throughout the runtime, you have to make split-second decisions that result in potential consequences that come into fruition later on due to what the game calls the butterfly effect, which adds to the scariest factor of the game, the fact that you are in charge of who lives and who does not throughout the night. Every single choice you make matters. Even the small choices such as whether or not you take the fast path instead of the safe one, or deciding to throw a snowball at a bird can have major implications on the story as the game unfolds. And the choices of the game become much more important when the evil on the mountain begins to terrify the characters. The game does a great job at keeping you on your toes at all times with several QuickTime events, as well as the brilliant Don't Move feature, forcing you to keep your controller perfectly still for a short amount of time to avoid the danger that could be lurking in the dark. As the night on Blackwood Mountain progressed, the choices that I made for these characters made me relate to them more and more, and it made me want them to survive the night. On my first playthrough, I made several wrong choices when playing as characters like Mike, Chris, and Sam, and the unforgiving story punished me for my mistakes, leaving me with the knowledge that if I had just chosen to run instead of hide, I could have saved that person and been one step closer to getting the ending that I wanted. What makes those choices matter the most is that in many other games, if your character kicks the bucket, you get to retry right away. But in Until Dawn, the story continues no matter what happens, leaving you with the impression that you are responsible for what happens to every character. The only way you can change the outcome is to complete the main story in its entirety. Then you are given the opportunity to go back and right the wrongs of your playthrough. I have gone back to this game several times since my first experience playing it a few summers ago. and every outcome has been different than the one before. The likelihood of someone's first playthrough having the same ending as your second is slim to none, which is what has brought players back to this game for many years. Until Dawn sold over 4 million copies and spawned a remake that came out last year, as well as a movie adaptation coming out in April of this year. If you have played Until Dawn, please let us know what you think of it in the comments below. Check back with us next week as we venture to Mount Massive Asylum. This has been Jake Walker with Surviving Horror.
With the newest Battlefield being announced, we know you're all excited to hear more about it, so we've brought on a special guest. Please welcome our esteemed guest, A Field of Battle.
Hey Evan, thank you so much for having me on Gentoo. I love what you guys do, and being able to come on here and talk about battles is a dream come true.
Yeah, we know you've seen a lot of battles in your lifetime, being a field of battle and everything.
Hey, being born in Europe means I've seen some of the greatest battles of all time. Verdun, Ypres, the Ardennes. I could go on and on, Evan, I really could.
Well, today we've brought you on to talk about the newest Battlefield that has just been announced.
Oh yeah, man, I cannot tell you how excited I am for that. Look, as a field of battle, I've got some experiences with battles, as you know, and Battlefield blows me away every time, except for 2042, but let's not talk about that. Call of Duty ain't bad, but I mean, if you want a real cinematic experience, explosions, bullets flying, shells screaming, tanks rolling, planes buzzing overhead, whole buildings coming crumbling down, the real deal. That's Battlefield.
I completely agree. I've got some great memories with Battlefield 4, and of course my number one of all time has just got to be Battlefield 1. Something about it really just scratches that itch for me.
Oh, I know. But all of the Battlefields really do an amazing job of giving you a memorable experience. Each time you play, you can have some of the most cinematic moments that just arise out of nowhere. Here, just check this out.
Fail. Fighting for those next to us. To protect those behind us. Forging our bonds in the fires of hell. And as the bodies grow in number, so will our perseverance. This is who we are. Those that fight in the dark.
So what's your opinion on the new Battlefield Lads initiative?
I think DICE is making a great move, like Sun Tzu. Great guy, by the way. He had a battle on a cousin of mine once.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, huge battle. It was crazy. He won't stop bragging about it, but back to the point. Battlefield Labs is directed at the players by having them come in and test specific parts of the newest game piece by piece so the developers can pick it apart and fix any problems that come up. People are great at finding random things to break, but being able to test so far in advance, I think it means they are really going to bring their A game and give us something that will live on for decades, hopefully.
So what do you think it's going to be, though?
I don't want to get my hopes up, Evan, but I'm really hoping for a Napoleonic battlefield, All those dudes just standing in a line, waiting to get shot at, firing a big old musket that takes a whole 30 seconds to reload, That's how war should have stayed.
I don't know if that really fits into what Battlefield does, Mr. Field of Battle. There's no really vehicles or anything like that, and it's, a bit slower paced.
Well, yeah, I said I didn't want to get my hopes up, but a field can dream.
I'm pretty sure they made a movie about that once.
Really? Like a war movie?
No, it was baseball.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. But you know what won't be disappointing? The newest Battlefield.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Field of Battle. It's been a pleasure having you on Gentoo.
No, thank you, Evan. Now, it's time to go entertain some tourists.
Mr. Field of Battle, everybody. Now, let's see some more shows.
Welcome to GTA Insight. My name is Joe Hubert, and today we'll discuss the week's updates, including new cars, modes, missions, and deals. Starting off, we have 2x GTA money and RP on drag races alongside a bonus of $100,000 if you complete 2 drag races this week. All eligible LS Car Meet activities will receive a triple RP bonus as well. Client jobs at your auto shop this week will earn 2 times GTA money. Drop Zone returns to the featured series this week and will have double rewards. If you complete one dispatch work job this week, you will receive a bonus of $100,000 and the black square shades to upgrade your personal style. If you log in through the 12th of this month, you will receive the following gifts: the black snake outfit, the red serpent leather jacket, the snake soul pendant, the red snake soul cap, and the gray snake king cap. You can also partake in the Lunar New Year stunt races to earn 2 times GTA money and RP, alongside a themed livery for the Penumbra FF. The cars available at Premium Deluxe Motorsports include the Dinka Jester, the Progen GP1, the Dubachi Masacro, the Cabrio, and the Coil Voltic. At Luxury Autos, they have the Ubermacht Niobe and the classy Vigoro ZX convertible. In the LS Car Meet, you can place top 5 in the Car Meet series this week for 4 days in a row to earn the Pfister Comet SR. Test rides for the LS Car Meet this week include the Pfister 811, the Vapid Riata, and the Shih Tzu Hakucho. The HSW Premium Test rides this week is the Anis Euros X32. Lastly, the Casino Wheel prize is the Gallivanter Baller STD. Moving to discounts for the week, we have 30% off auto shop properties, upgrades, and modifications, 30% off the Progen GP1, the Pfister 811, the Dinka Jester, the Karen Hot Ring Evron, the Vapid Dominator ASP, the Obey Tailgater S, the Vulcan Warner HKR, the Anis Remus, and the Joe Built Velum 5-seater. The gun van discounts include the L Strickler, which is free for GTA Plus members only, 40% off the stun gun, and for those without GTA Plus, you can get 30% off the military rifle. Lastly, for those with GTA Plus, you guys will get the bonuses including a free Vapid Dominator GT, the LS Panic Varsity Jacket, new chameleon paints, and 2 times rewards on priority FIB files. That's all the updates for this week on GTA Insight. Tune in next week to learn about what's new in GTA, and have an amazing week.
The place for all your nerdy news. How's It Gaming?
Hello, and welcome to How's It Gaming, the news show where we talk about all gaming-related stories in your local area. I'm Corby Raridan, and for our first official story, we have a retro-loving college student who may have taken his hobby a bit too far. Roll the footage. Are you a fan of Frogger? Do you like the dangers of jumping through a highway full of speeding cars? Well, believe it or not, this classic retro game has a new super fan. Meet Ryan Thomas, a man who claims to be the biggest Frogger fan in the world. It is common knowledge around campus that I'm not only the biggest Frogger fan, but that I'm also the best at the game. Ryan spends lots of his time in the media edit bay playing on the campus arcade machine. I have literally never seen him do anything else. I'm not even sure what his major is here. Wait, does he even go to college here? It's no question that Ryan has true passion for the retro gaming lifestyle. I just love seeing that little frog jump. I mean, every step he makes closer to danger just makes my heart race. He has got to be one of the hands down worst players I have ever seen at that game. There's just no stopping me when I hit that start button, you know? It amazes me how he hasn't gotten better at the game, given all the time he's put into it. It's like he's getting worse. I am probably the greatest gamer in the whole world. He doesn't even have the high score on the machine. Despite his potential skill, Ryan has plans to take his hobby to the next level. I fully believe that with my Frogger experience, I could replicate the game in real life with ease. Let me show you. This is the spot. At exactly 5 p.m., the roads are gonna be packed from everyone coming home from work, right? And that's when I come in. I'm gonna make it to the pond at the other end of this interstate by froggering my way across. Good idea, right? There is absolutely nothing that can go wrong. Things did in fact go wrong Ryan was struck by a car and has been transported to the Liberty Bibbity Mosaic Hospital to be treated for his injuries. We would like to put on the record that we did not encourage him to go through with his act, but he did on his own intentions. And, well, here we are. I guess a lesson can be learned from this event, though. That lesson being, well, that was quite the story. I guess it goes to show you that gaming and reality are two separate worlds, and you have to make sure to keep those apart, or else you might find yourself in a similar situation to Ryan someday. We'll report on the story if we get any new updates. But until then, that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to come back next week to see our next major news story. I've been Corby Raridan, and this was How's It Gaming. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching this episode of Gentoo. If you liked it,
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to not miss any future episodes.
make sure to tune in next week for our future patch notes. We'll see you then.